service to be nominated. And then the Broken Circle Breakdown, which we saw earlier, Siberry's third album, her second in the United States, The Speckless Sky, had been released, and the rep for Open Air Records gave me a pair of tickets to see her at the Paradise, because I was the manager of Strawberry's record store. I had Jane's previous album, and my initial listen to The Speckless Sky was intriguing, so my friend Becky and I braved a nasty snowstorm, and we went to see the show. After the show, I turned to Becky and said, well, if I never get to see Kate Bush, at least I saw Jane Siberry. That was a big statement coming from this avowed Kate Bush fanatic. And what, you may be wondering, does this have to do with Rebecca Jenkins, one of this year's recipients of the Career So Far award? Well, let's roll the clip. Yeah, for the next couple of years, that's what I knew about Rebecca Jenkins. She was one of Jane Siberry's incredibly talented backup singers. That was a fantastic band. I saw them a few times. She appeared in several videos, and Jane's videos were all like mini movies. So it wasn't a huge surprise when a few years later, now fully immersed in independent film, I came across a little Canadian movie called Bye Bye Blues. This little gem of a film was set during World War II and was centered on Daisy Cooper, a woman who joins a jazz band to provide for her family while her husband is serving in the Canadian military. Daisy was played by Rebecca Jenkins, and she could act. And the fact that she could sing up a storm didn't hurt, considering she was playing a jazz singer. Bye Bye Blues was actually nominated for 12 Genies, those are the Canadian Oscars, and won 3, including Best Original Song, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Actress for Rebecca. It wasn't very much later when I was watching the Tim Robbins film Bob Roberts, and I was thrilled to see Rebecca again playing Dolores Peregrue, one of Bob's political aides trying to get him elected. What I didn't know was that Bye Bye Blues was Rebecca's third film, and between that film and Bob Roberts, she started doing television work in Canada, as well as a couple of more Canadian features. She continued to work in the music industry, both with Jane Siberry and some solo work, but her acting career really took off with many television appearances and films. From 1996 to 1999, she had a regular role on the Canadian television series Black Harbor as Catherine Hubbard, a successful restaurant owner who returned to live in her Nova Scotia hometown to be with her mother, who had suffered a heart attack. Rebecca did a lot of film and television work after Black Harbor ended, none of which I saw. They didn't get released in the United States. Then everything changed in 2002. I was at the Toronto International Film Festival and I caught 2 films that made me suddenly remember how much I had enjoyed Bye Bye Blues. The first was Past Perfect, written, directed, and starring Daniel McIver, his feature film debut after becoming one of Canada's most important playwrights. The story of Charlotte and Cecil is examined by focusing exclusively on 2 very different days in their life together. The film jumps back and forth between their initial meeting on an overnight flight between Halifax and Vancouver, and a Saturday 2 years later, when a recent loss has begun to unravel their domestic life. Rebecca and Daniel turn in such rich, nuanced performances, both in the scenes that show their initial meeting and their gradual falling in love, and in later scenes where grief threatens to tear them apart. Showcasing Rebecca's sublime ability to convey humor and pathos, sometimes in the very same scene, Past Perfect was a strong start to a series of very strong performances. Also at that film festival that year was Marion Bridge, a film that has become one of my favorite films of all time. I initially went to see it because I'm a big fan of Molly Parker's, who stars in the film with Rebecca Jenkins and Stacey Smith. Parker plays Agnes, who's in the midst of a struggle to overcome her own self-destructive behavior, returns to Nova Scotia from Toronto because of the failing health of her mother, Rose. She is met by her older sister, Teresa, played with arch humor and pent-up anger by Rebecca Jenkins, a devout Catholic who has recently been dumped by her husband for a younger woman, and Louise, the middle child, who has retreated from the outside world. In addition, this was my first exposure to Ellen Page and the directorial talents of Wieke van Karelsveld. Again, with a screenplay written by Daniel MacGyver, the acting in Marion Bridge is superb. As I said before, Rebecca balances sarcasm, humor, barely contained anger, frustration, and love so beautifully. The 1-2 punch of Past Perfect and Marion Bridge revealed a true talent. Let's take a look at this scene from Marion Bridge.
Agnes. Teresa, how are some of that nicotine gum? Teresa, you were sticking out if she's having a nick fit. Teresa. What?
I think we should go and see Dad.
Stop it.
I think we should.
What?
I think we should go see Dad.
Why? Absolutely not. We're not getting to that. Not while Mother's still alive.
I think it's the right thing to do.
Do you? Do you know what the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to do?
What?
Where do these come from?
I saw them in a...
Oh, now you're gonna lie to me. You knew the store's where the price tag. Promise me you weren't gonna start anything.
I'm not starting anything.
You talked to her? Did you talk to her?
Yes.
You saw her? Does she know who you are?
No.
She better not. Or what? Or maybe you can start thinking about making your way back home.
I'm just trying to make sense of some things.
What you should do, both of you stop it with this toy thing. And you stop it with your cruising around. Both of you, what you need to do is get your shit together and start thinking about what's going on right here in this house. Do you hear me?
More television appearances ensued, and Rebecca broke into the US TV market as well, with appearances in such TV movies as 10.5 Apocalypse, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, and Super Volcano. Around this time, Rebecca again collaborated with Daniel MacGyver. Will Be Wonderful was Daniel's follow-up to Past Perfect. It was an ensemble piece with an all-star Canadian cast, including Rebecca, Sandra Oh, Paul Gross, Ellen Page, Callan Keith Rennie, Daniel MacGyver, Maury Chaykin, and more. It tells the story of a small town in Nova Scotia and the way small town gossip can wreak havoc in people's lives. Rebecca plays Sandra Anderson, who grew up in the town of Wilby, left, and then came back. She's having an affair with a married police officer and is being rejected by her adolescent daughter for not being a good single parent. Again, Rebecca holds up her end of this ensemble comedy with ease, yet she delivers the resignation and disappointment of her situation and the hurt she feels by her daughter's rejection so beautifully. Whole New Thing, directed by M. Non-Bookbinder and written by Daniel MacGyver, tells the story of homeschooling Emerson, who becomes infatuated with his gay middle school teacher when he's sent to public school. Rebecca plays his free-spirited, countercultural mother, whose marriage becomes strained when a local catches her eye. Again, Rebecca just adds so much to this film, even in a supporting role. In fact, Chlotrudis board member Bruce Kingsley said in one of his film reviews, Rebecca Jenkins enhances every film she is in with consistently fine performances. Rebecca wasn't too visible to US audiences for the next few years, but that doesn't mean she wasn't busy. A couple more films, both with Canadian filmmaker Carl Bassai, and lots of television led up to her latest, rather unexpected role. This time, it was at the Toronto International Film Festival 2012. I was highly anticipating the new documentary by Sarah Polley. I knew it was about the way we tell stories, and how even facts are completely defined by the person relating them, but I had no idea that it was such a personal film. Sarah interviews family members about her mother who passed away when she was just a baby. In flashback, using archival footage, we see Sarah's mother, Diane, And I remember distinctly thinking to myself, wow, Sarah's mom looks a lot like Rebecca Jenkins. I soon figured out that some of the archival footage I was watching was actually recreations, and Diane was being played by Rebecca Jenkins. I almost fell off the chair. Rebecca's performance was just astounding. With no dialogue, Rebecca conveys such a full range of emotions with her action and expressions that she truly becomes Diane Pauley, and the line between fictional and documentary filmmaking becomes thoroughly blurred. Let's take a look.
Johnny was working in the living room on a list for a casting call, and his mother was alone in the den. Then he thought he heard something that sounded like distress, and found himself being unable to resist moving a little closer. He stopped, and he listened, and there was no doubt that she was crying.
What I overheard was Mom saying that she was pregnant, and that she was considering an abortion, and that she wasn't sure who the father was. But I remember Mom, whoever she was talking on the phone, talking about this big weekend that she and Michael had had and how it had reinvigorated the relationship, and he started to write her all these love letters after the weekend that they had in Montreal. It was clear that you had been conceived while Mom was in Montreal.
He listened for a while longer and then hurried guiltily back to his work in the living room. He said nothing. And so the event passed, and John kept it all to himself, while an entire generation went to their graves.
I guess I kind of blocked it. I guess I kind of stopped thinking about it because what good is it going to do, you know? Because the family was a big enough mess already.
I don't know what the future holds for Rebecca, but I certainly hope it holds more movies. The special award is to celebrate her career so far. Chlotrudis sure hopes that there are many, many more performances to come from this talented actor. Please welcome to the stage, Rebecca Jenkins.
I am a dog person myself. I think they could grow on me.
So cute. Oh, sorry. So cute. These are amazing. These are so beautiful. And your sister designed and makes these by hand. That's amazing. Thank you so much. First of all, Michael, you're getting all her fun. It's amazing to actually have someone. I've never been actually spoken my work, expressed like that, talked about like that. So emotional right now. It's strange, but it was very beautiful, and I really want to thank you for that. This is an incredible organization, and. First of all, never mind the Oscars. That opening number was just astonishing. I mean, you guys, you gotta be kidding me. It's so clever and funny, and oh my God, it's wonderful. It's things like this. It's organizations like this that make it all worthwhile. I have to say. Because you don't get recognized in a way like this with so much passion. I think I'm tired. Excuse me. God, shut up. No, get over it. I've had so many opportunities, and I'm given to me, and I always feel so blessed and so grateful for the wonderful stories that I've gotten to be involved in portraying the roles I've gotten to portray, and it's like such a short and crazy life, and it's like each of the roles has been sort of an opportunity to dig deeper into what we're here for and what we're doing here on this planet, and independent film is really the best way that the way I've felt the most connected to life, my life. It's an opportunity to grow, to understand. And this highlight, this celebration and this award is like, forget the Oscars, you know. Seriously, this makes it all so worthwhile. And I want to thank you, Michael, and I want to thank the Society for, you like me? No, for choosing. And for all of you out there who support independent film, it's a beautiful world, and it's the closest, working on things like this and working with Jane and all those projects and all of these wonderful art forms where you're in the pulse of life. You know, you feel really connected to the pulse of life and to the gritty, the beautiful, the dark, the muddy, all of that, and finding that quicksilver gold line through it, and that's why I like independent film, because you are right there. You're all in it together. You're not distracted by and muddied by all the, you know, PAs, oh, can I get you this, can I get you that, and all the big money behind it, which means too many cooks with opinions that really, they don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time. People on set, you're like, when did you become a writer? You know. And it's wonderful, and it's such an opportunity to actually stretch in a way that you just would not get that opportunity. So you're working in this beautiful milieu, this cooperation, it's astonishing. I mean, it's such a gift. So I feel blessed, and I want to thank my husband, Joel Backen, who is here today with me and who supports me in everything I do. I love you, honey. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
And thank you, everyone, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. No, thank you so much. As you can see, I'm better actor than public speaker. In the script. Thank you so much.